For 10 years, the skies had been silent, no rain, no mercy. But in the ruins of a forgotten city, a girl with storm in her veins awakens a power older than the gods. Her name is Mimi, and her choice will decide if the world lives or dies. The rain had not fallen in 10 years. Children in the village of Ogadagidi had never heard it. They had never danced in it, never smelled wet earth, never splashed muddy water on each other's faces. Their parents barely remembered. They spoke of rain like it was a dream you only recalled in pieces. Cool air, the scent of soaked leaves, thunder like a distant war drum. The skies had darkened into an empty, merciless dome. The sun no longer blinked. The land cracked. The rivers turned to ghost beds. Dust rose like spirits and settled on everything. Homes, crops, graves. People no longer cried. There was no water for tears, but they all remember the night the sky broke. 10 years ago, lightning split the heavens with the rage of a forgotten god. Thunder followed, deep and primal, and for the space of an hour, the clouds wept, not a drizzle, rain, fat and fierce, drumming on zinc roofs, flooding forgotten gutters, waking the bones of ancestors buried shallow. The village elders fell to their knees. Children screamed, terrified of the blessing they did not understand. And in the eye of that storm, a girl was born. Her mother died before they could cut the cord. No one knew who the father was. The midwife said the girl did not cry like a baby. She roared, and her eyes glowed, just for a moment, like the heart of lightning. They named her Nini, meaning water's gift, but most feared her, and they called her Asa-Iji, storm witch. She grew up in silence and suspicion. Women covered their babies' eyes when she passed. The village dogs howled at her scent. At age 5, she was found in the shrine grove, whispering to the ants. At 7, she was bitten by a scorpion and didn't flinch. At 9, a boy who struck her fell ill for weeks and dreamed of drowning. She had no friends, only voices in the wind. By the time she was 13, the drought had worsened. Wells were holes. Animals burst dust. Even the gods seemed absent. Then the earth cracked during the annual dust festival. As dancers spun in circles of desperation, the central shrine collapsed. With a sound like a groan from the underworld, a fissure opened in the ground, and from it rose a wind unlike any other, hot, dry, and full of whispers. The drums stopped. Children bled from their noses. The elders fell into trances. When the chief priest awoke, he was weeping. He confessed, a truth buried by generations had returned. 1,000 years ago, a witch named Owudi, she who calls the storm, defied the gods. She had summoned rain for the dying during a divine drought, challenging the will of the Orisha. As punishment, she was exiled to the spirit world. Her power sealed beneath the earth with a sacred object, the drum of Ekwensu. It was said that this drum, when struck by her blood, could command the skies again. But the gods placed a curse upon the land. No rain would fall until her spirit returned and paid the price of defiance. Now, as those spirits rose and lands choked, the people began to whisper that the storm born, the exile reborn, and the dust spirits, the Ufiatosi, they had come to collect her. The Ufiatosi were once men, farmers, warriors, priests, dried out by centuries of thirst, tossed into ash and wind. They moved in dust. They had no mouths. They tore roofs of huts, drank sweat from the skin, and searched endlessly for the girl with storm in her blood. Mimi fled. She left behind the village that hated her, running across the burnt earth with nothing but a carved staff the mad Sia had left by her door. She followed the dreams, the ones that had plagued her since childhood. In them, a woman with silver eyes and hair like rain clouds called to her, "Child of dust, child of storm, you carry my name. The world has forgotten the rhythm of the rain, but the drum remembers. Follow the fissures, follow the whispers. When the earth cracks open, you will find me waiting. Find the drum, child. Only the drum can make the sky remember." She journeyed through the ruin of what was once Nigeria, She crossed the salt flat of the river Niger, now a boneyard. She slept in the shells of refineries half buried in dunes. In the ruins of Lokoja, she met a boy with no tongue who played a flute that spoke from him. His name was Uday, and he showed her the way to the cave of Oya, where wind was first born. The cave was alive with echoes, and its guardians were the Ekuru, spirits of failed rainmakers, whose bones had gone into the stone. They had tried and failed to bring water to their people. Now twisted and bitter, they tested her with illusions, memories, guilt. Bonimi sang, not with her mouth, but from her blood, a song of rivers, of flooded yam bands, of mothers bathing their sons, a song older than sorrow. The spirits parted, and there, deep in the belly of the cave, was the drum of Ekwensu. It pulsed, not wood, not skin, but something alive. The moment she touched it, it consumed her mind. She saw everything: the rise of Onwudiegu, her betrayal, her exile, her defiance. She saw the gods debating mercy and choosing vengeance. She saw her own birth, a flicker of rebellion written in the sky. And she saw the future, people planting again, rain falling like music, a world that had not yet died. But there was a price. The drum demanded balance. Rain could not return without a sacrifice. And so she struck the drum. The sound was not heard with ears. It was felt in the bones of trees, in the spine of the land. It traveled. It shattered the bones of drought. It cracked the sky. And then it rained. Not a drizzle, not a trickle. A storm that shook the stars. The dust spirits dissolved. Screaming and water remembered them. Trees burst from beneath ash. Wells boiled over. Crops drank greedily. In Ogadagidi, old women dropped to their knees, weeping into the soil. The river returned like a child finding its way home. But Nimi was gone. Some say she became the storm itself, drifting across the land with eyes of lightning. Others say she sleeps beneath Olumo Rock. Her heart beats the thunder before every rain.